All right, gentlemen and gentlemen, we're going to retry this. Again, we're going to retry this, and it's going to be epic this time, because this time, it's going to get its point across. Mike is going to ring like a motherfucking bell. Mike is going to sound like a drum. The most beautiful of roses have the most insidious of motives. And our unceasing urge to defend and feed our shit fountains astounds me at times. It's like a fucking feces sprinkler. Just every fucking where. All day. Every fucking day. I do it too. And I'm fucking aware of it, hyper aware of it, and working on learning that aspect of myself. And perhaps that's why this becomes a topic of conversation. Maybe a massive ass whooping that my roommate got just a little while ago as he was drugged from one end of my fucking house to the next by an absolute gentleman who gave this motherfucker his witness, handed him something beautiful out of love for something that a guy probably should have gone for. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to divulge either, but this was a serious fucking thing. It was a serious fucking thing. Whether you're somebody's daughter or somebody's son, or you're 30 or you're 3, there are no zones where you do not belong. And you know you don't want to be there. That's why you hate yourself when you find yourself in it. And yet you are powerless to keep yourself out of it. And when in that company of yourself, your lesser self, you're absolutely fucking destined to sit petrified as you watch and are unable to stop it. It's not something that you can prevent, my friend. It's a fight you've already lost. It's a sin that you're already serving. It's the song of the lower rungs of society. The upper echelon listens to as they fall asleep. Like a Band of Horses album or something. Only by the Night, maybe. Or Kings of Leon's Come Around Sundown was okay for that era. There were a few songs on the album that sucked real bad, but one fixes the playlist, and well, what do you know? I give you my witness. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm watching you do something or believing in you or giving you praise or fellowship or following any of these things. I can give you my witness by choosing to tune you up for making a bad decision, calling you out in front of a bunch of people you're trying to impress for being fake, untrue about yourself in their presence. You know, the gazelle is receiving the witness of the lion when it's the lioness, I suppose, when it's chomping on that back ass, like little fucking hindquarters, as the front of it's still panting, tongue hanging out its fucking dying ass mouth. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it the other way around. One of them's learning a lesson. And that's the way it should be. These are the natural order things. The way they've done our society, we're unable to have that anymore. My bone spurs, my bone spurs, my fucking bone spurs. Oh, but my bone spurs and my bronchitis, my sleep apnea, and my Crohn's, and my flat foot, and fucking Osgood Slaughter's disease in my knee. We can make these little excuses, just like we can take this person who's handed us their witness in the most brutal forms, the most painful and fucking abrupt of ways, and perhaps at the expense of our own pride, or a few teeth, or a gallon and a half of blood on Mike's white carpet. We can sit there and say, well, that asshole come up into my room and caught me off guard. No, that's not what happened. When you have the fucking want to defend your bullshit actions that have brought you pain at the hands of another man who didn't kill you, it's because that man loves you and wants you to be a better person. That man's whooping your ass because you're a fucking little bitch and you need to learn a lesson. Most generally speaking, that man is probably way braver than I'll be because that's the dude that's going to get up, let you get back up, and let you get back up, and finally fucking make your ass submit, give up, stand up. Say, I told you before this started, you behave yourself, I'll buy you a fucking beer afterwards. Now this is over. Walk away, witness and all. You're left with that ownership, that thing that you might try to rebuke, revoke, rebut, deny, waive, disown. And most of us, ego still intact for some reason, are going to say to ourselves and everyone around us, fuck that guy, that pussy, this, and this, that we know to be patently untrue, that our brains can't let slide. We just can't accept the reality of this, and this about the circumstances, but my bones first. Give me 1 second on that thought. And so for all still none of you, do not remember precisely where I was, but the sentiment's going to remain the same regardless of the juncture at which we find ourselves in the timeline. No one is ever going to tell you words that hurt because they want you dead. They're going to tell you words that hurt because they want you alive, very alive, more alive than you are, obviously. No one is ever going to put their hands medium style or lesser unless they love you. They're not going to do that shit because they fucking are afraid of you or because you to be fucking killed. They're going to kill you. They're going to walk up with a fucking mallet and fucking stove that head in, dude. Melon baller. Red mist. They don't come with hands to say anything less than here is my witness. So what do you do with that? What do you do with that transfer of title, that 9/10 that now is in your possession? That primary security interest given to you by the grantor, in this case personified by a man or a woman. And the grantor, the source issue of all source, the surety for the named principal. This is not about biblical teachings or Noahide law or hermetics or 12 steps or self-mastery. Jung and his keys, his red book, Nietzsche and Kierkegaard and all these fucking motherfuckers. That fucking lioness knew when it was born that gazelle was going to run. No, my bone spurs, my bone spurs. You don't got it, man. You got it all wrong. My bone spurs. And down that path it goes. Walled in on both sides. In the crevasse. Safe place to be, right? Straight and narrow. How could you fuck that up? But you see, that lion knew last year that gazelle was going to take a left at that fork. My bone spurs, my bone spurs. Maybe try and stick a little fucking pocket knife that you gave it for Christmas in your neck when you're trying to hold it down, keep it from hurting itself or making you hurt itself. My bone spurs, my boots, snake in my boot. But Josh, Charisse, they stole my bike. And that gazelle does take that left. And that lion knew the look that'd be on that fucker's face. Even though it wouldn't be facing it at all at that point in time. I'm sure that lion got to look into my eyes a good long while, chewing on that fucking thing as it blinked. Blinked itself into a spasm, and then expired and was dispatched from this place. Because that lion knew this morning what that gazelle this afternoon was going to taste like when it come up on it at that dead end. My bone spurs, my bronchitis. Don't make excuses. When you're in one of the finest, potentially most important moments of growth and transformation, metamorphosis in your entire lifetime, don't you for a second choose a lifetime worth of subsequent shadow work and shame and fucking runners up trophy so that you could wave away all the fucking ownership so that you could dance away from your fucking part of the deal so that you can try and back out on your promissory note. Honor and equity. I believe it says in Matthew, might be 2016 to 18, or it might be 1820 to 2060, 572. I don't know. That when you're harmed by your brother, you go and you give them notice. You take 3 witnesses, your peers, your community, members of your community, you both know. And you go to them and you say, brother, you harmed me. I need to tell you that the physics of this place and nature itself, the laws of nature and nature's God, they require of you that I be made whole. So I give you this opportunity and my witness. Of course, if he tells you to fucking take it on the heels, come back the next day. You tell him again, brother, you harmed me. I've given you notice, and you've chosen to respond in a manner that does not make me whole. If this doesn't work, dishonored and defaulted, you can then seek some sort of judgment against this man or woman, this trespasser. Of course, this stems off into the whole debate as to whether or not you should forgive this debt, be it someone who wouldn't have done the same for you, as told with the master and the servant, or whether you should issue a writ of execution, try and enforce that judgment. My bone spurs, he screams as you say, just fucking hold still, fucking hold still. Stop fighting it, it's over. I don't know, man. I won't be here forever. At some point in time, fucking my boys may be able to look back at some of this. If any of it ever stays, if I ever keep a channel longer than 6 months. If I quit getting fucking high, like a child, like a fucking student athlete, Negro jazz musician or something. Live like an adult again, like I did when I had a family. Give myself permission to love myself again. Forgive myself for letting my whole family get fucking yanked and trafficked while I was an hour and a half away at work on a Monday morning before Christmas with the whole week off. 985 days, 986 days, Sarah. Fucking miss my wife. Witness, 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 and ownership. The redo. My bone spurs. Where's he going with this? Where are you going with this, Mike? Well, I says to you who didn't ask, and all of those who will not watch, because there is no following here. There is nothing to see here. One can argue for their limitations and use them as an excuse to be a lazy faggot and not do something like put the lid back on the damn brown paint, the chocolate brown paint that you've got sitting on top of white carpet in my fucking son's bedroom. But I know not to say anything to you when I see it. With my screwdriver sitting right next to it, covered in fucking paint, dried paint. My hammer sitting right now. These things don't belong in your room, they're mine. But I don't give my witness. I sit here and I let Ray come along and show me how a man handles a thing. I learned my lesson tonight too. I've come a long way. I was proud of the man that I was when I was still a father and a husband. I was very proud, and pride comes before the fall. But there's no need to bullshit it. I'm exemplary. You couldn't hold my dick. I don't even know you from Adam. Couldn't. Sorry. Do you want me doing your hobby? Don't even tell me what it is. Don't even tell me what it is. Just me having that knowledge has fucked you out of the enjoyment of that. I'm not to be rivaled. I'm not even to be understood or stood next to. The pinnacle is fucking tiny. There's not much space up there. Certainly not enough for everyone. It's hard to get to. Very, very hard to get to. So much so that you will have to step over briskly at first, and then with a modicum of effort after a fashion, and then eventually climb over smoldering ashes and piles of bones and teeth and shit and piss, fear and failure and fucking shame, shame, shame. They used to be your peers on their long, hard road to the middle. But as you get to this top, 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 you'll find to really understand why they aren't there, your peers. That's because the air up there is thin and it's not properly made for their weak little baby lungs. My bone spurs, my sleep apnea, my bronchitis. Without going too much into what's happened here and what leaves a man sitting in the dark in his home 3 in the morning on a Sunday, contemplating this shit. It it reminds me of the last things that I said to my brother. I said, Russ, if a motherfucker cares enough about you to put their witness, their effort, their transfer of ownership into this feeling they have for you that's so strong that it can't be stifled or held to wait another moment. And he says to you, Russ, you son of a bitch, you sit here and let your fucking rat tail having ugly ass new girlfriend that you lost your fucking wife for tell us with her stinky yellow teeth, breath, how she has a bigger dick than you and you're a pussy as you sit there piss drunk at 10:30 in the morning on a Saturday off of 3-2 convenience store beers in rural Kansas. That motherfucker means to say, my brother, I love you and I love what you were. And that brother understands that he's not going to get the same from you because, as previously mentioned, he is exemplary. He is a cut above his peers. And these people do not know how to say correctly the things that they see because they have not the nuts and bolts knowledge to begin with. Probably doesn't look like anything to them. But that brother, that friend, knows that you're going to say to him, you've changed, simply because you don't understand the concept of you've grown, and that they'll stay there smoking until they're cool enough to finally fade like a vestige or blow off into the wind, Infinity War style. So I says to Russ, I say, you were my hero. In 7th grade, you went to school in a kilt. And the meanest boys in that fucking high school, 8th grade, sorry, was fucking with you, giving you shit in between every class, talking about I'm gonna lift that skirt up, blah, blah. What'd you do the next day? You came back with a fucking bagpipe. He's my fucking hero. I wanted him to understand that he could still be everything he was, because I could see in his dead eyes that he wasn't in the frame of mind or in the place to give himself permission to understand that it was a tiny drop that he took, but this was for his benefit, that the growth comes from the vulnerability, that the tree grows from the outside in. No, it's the hardwood. It's soft, it's moist, it's pink, sometimes purple, it's vulnerable. Everybody looks at the tree like that fucking bark and then leaves. Boy, that thing is fucking just as tall, if not taller, going parallel to the horizon underneath. Every single one of them. What you would experience as the tree is where it has come to die. It would live forever in that fucking ground, near a sewer or any source of water. Forever. And hopefully, if you're here and have made it to this point, that you would understand that the tree knows that it has to come up and has to face the harsh sun and the wind, the storms, the lightning, the lumberjacks, the woodpeckers. Give its all at its own expense and risking and applying by necessity its own demise for our enjoyment. And we would be so brazen as to say that was our witness being transferred over to this tree. But it's not. This tree for you has said, I will do this thing that probably does not help me in any way, much more than an ooh and an ah. While an attaboy sure is nice, you can't cash a check of attaboys. You can't eat an attaboy. You can't lay your head down on an attaboy and get a good night's sleep. That witness is coming from that tree. That man telling you, Russ, that you should go home, fucking neck yourself. It was days later. At the time, it was love and understanding. I wish that was the case. It was actually backwards. I told my brother that he was going to be pissing himself, shaky old fucking dialysis, fucking cirrhosis, yellow skin, toothless fucking piece of shit in his mid-40s, working maintenance in a dog food factory, working on forklifts, conveyor belts for $10 an hour in Barton County, Kansas, in a trailer house on Hart's Corner. That's what happened to my hero. And one could say that's the life he chose. One could say we don't give a fuck about Russ and switch on off. It's all the same to me. I know it to be something different. I know that that wasn't my brother. That was a waste of flesh. That was something that needed to be gone from this place. So I told him so. I told him to get out of my fucking house. Send him with my AR. Blow your fucking brains out, pussy. He was coming for it anyways. He wanted to shoot out there on the property and fuck around with it. Told me he was bringing me a couple of things that Sarah had made for him. Mom had made him ukulele. Fucking, it was decorated in roach papers. We smoked. Fuck. Had to have been 3-4 pounds of weed to make that motherfucker what it was if we had smoked an ounce. You know what I mean? Papers. We had 4 different roaches, like in jars, like fucking roach jars, like stages. By the time it got past the third, we had to put the shit in bowls and bongs. So fucking terrible. That 4 shit, we threw that shit away when we moved to Wellington. It was an amazing fucking ukulele. You'll miss my fucking life something for this. Thanks to my brain tumor, I don't even fucking remember what happened to that damn thing. It's gone now. I don't have it. I slept with that thing every fucking night. Piece of mama in there. She's gone, and she made this to please a part of me. It was my brother at one point in time and is now worm food. Mama's gone. Ukulele's here. There go. The essence of mom, mama Sarah, mama Talbot was in this ukulele. And then my proximity next to it was akin to or something in the vein of a temporal proximity to her again. Being the birth of the spirit, the birth of the soul. I call this essentialism. The day that Russ killed himself, I left him a bunch of messages saying, not a bunch, I think 3, probably all in all about 4 minutes. Anybody that knows me knows I lack brevity. But to surmise, I said to my brother that if a man's going to risk possibly having to lose you, you'll no longer be a part of his world. To see that you understand and seek a sort of change that he knows it to be an absolute fact, a fundamental sound doctrine and principle. But you must gain this knowledge in order to advance in this place or be stuck there and buried by it with time, for time, all of it. That this man is giving you this witness. He's doing so because he loves you. It doesn't matter if it's the end of a fucking 4-knuckle motherfucking pillow fight or a kiss on the fucking forehead. And then I forgive you before there was ever even an apology. This witness is costly. It's going to be costly for the one that deals it. It hurts me more than it hurts you. As Dad used to say, still hear them belts coming through them loops, man. Fucking, you double that shit up and pop it. Well, you remember make a little production out of it. Fucking. Told Russ that this person is not doing this because they want you to hurt. They want you to hurt just enough, though. You learn your fucking lesson. Alter course. Make the shit correct. Do what a man does about it. Which brings us to Ray. Ray knew he wasn't going to get to buy that dude a beer if he behaved himself at the end of this. Ray knew that that dude was probably going to struggle first and try and get away. Ray knew that that dude was certainly going to call for the 3 mean ass, well cared for, trained up fucking dogs to get Ray off, the complete stranger, as opposed to the one that feeds them and takes them outside because he's my little bitch and he lives here with no concept of the cost that he puts on the environment here. Eat every last bit of food in this motherfucker. Not even try to get on food stamps. Like, I mean, how fucking lazy are you? Take a driver's license and a piece of mail. Retarded and lazy. But you don't have to be, because you have a friend like Ray who's here to whoop that ass. Medium style. Boy, look at the time, Mike. Look at the time. It's taking you 40 minutes to try and spit this out, and this is your 3rd attempt. You gonna get it, Mikey? He thinks he will. He thinks he will. Just like the old days. But the show's format's changed, hadn't it? Mama sitting next to me and us having a full panel and co-host. Pile of fucking viewers, pile of fucking comments, emails thanking me for the life-changing fucking knowledge that I've shared at no cost. I miss these things. You know, the internet points taste good. They do. It's vitriol. You can't give that away. It's an egregore. You don't turn the number of views, the thumbs up off on your settings, fucking subs where nobody can see it and feel like all of a sudden you're huge or small. Just like you don't take an ass whooping like that from someone who's willing to give you a gift from the gods to be the conduit by which that fucking taxing, damaging thing moves. One thinks it feels good. To the person being the instrument, it doesn't. That hammer ain't got nothing against them nails. Matter of fact, it spends all day fucking whacking nails and it gets home and screws start looking like nails, fucking staples. They ain't. They ain't. Witness. This is to keep you from getting up and saying that cocksucker that let me live in his house for free forever wants me to pay a bill and now he's kicking me out because I won't after half a year or 3 months or fuck 3 days. Going to McDonald's and eat your cheeseburger before you pay for it. When you ever fucking moved into a place without paying one down the whole fucking first month? One down, first last. And that's to keep it equitable. See, that thing holding the primary security interest that's transferring it over to you is doing it in trust. And that's under the understanding that you will see the value, seek the value in this thing and appreciate the value in this thing, or you own it. But we don't. We never do. We say, how do I fuck this dude up? How do I get even with this thing that tried to help me? And so in summary, no good deed goes unpunished. If the cutworm forgets to plow, you know at birth that you're going to swim out there and try and save Russ when he's drowning. And you knew a year ago that Russ was going to fight like hell to pull you down with him all the way out there, so far from the shoreline. And you knew last month that you would be nearly dead yourself when you drug Russ up onto the fucking shoreline. Sand still wet as fuck, tide rolling out. And you knew this morning that you were going to have to lean down and give his fucking nasty ass CPR. As though he deserved it. I jest, but you knew that second you opened your eyes up, so close to his, that was your knife that you gave him for his birthday. It just come up out of his pocket that you heard click into lock as it fucking goes thrusting into your neck and gets spun like a goddamn motorcycle handlebar. For a dude from Kansas that lives upstairs. RD, fix your fucking shit, boy. Walking around town with a hatchet like you need revenge. You were given a gift. What are you gonna sneak up and fucking Paul Bunyan the dude with being a pouty child? I love you. Ray loves you. The gods love you. Give yourself permission to love yourself. For fuck's sake, go you good boy, brothers and sisters. I had the distinct pleasure of being bleak narratives for you tonight. Tomorrow on history. Thank God. Fuck. Jesus fuck.